So my wife and I are developing 20 acres, and we decided the most efficient way to do it is to buy our own machine. And after doing a ton of research, I ended up with the Sany SY35U, and where I struggled was there wasn't a lot of reviews about them. So after a little bit of convincing, my wife talked me into making this video.
So when we bought this house, the previous owner's kids had made this construction project for their shop class. And when we had it inspected, or had the house inspected, we discovered this in the back of our property, and it was full of pot. So it was basically like their little pot smoking shack. And we haven't been out here in 8 years. So we're finally tearing down the pot shack. You can see that there's their paperwork documenting that they did their construction project.
I think that the Sany, the zero turn SY35U, it seems a little slow on its adjustments and its movements. I'm used to a non-zero turn Kubota KY040, which is a higher horsepower machine. And maybe it's just a zero turn because the zero turns serve their purpose, and it does have lower horsepower, and so maybe that's what it is. But it just seems like I'm expecting things to move quicker than they do, and I haven't run any other zero turn machine, so I don't know how to compare it to a different brand, but it does seem that compared to a non-zero turn, the zero turns are slower. I don't know if it's a Sany thing or a zero turn thing, but if you watch it, the movements are consistent and smooth. They're just not fast, and so maybe a more experienced operator would get bored or frustrated with not being able to do things quite as quickly as they're wanting to, as they see things going in their mind. I think the Sany did a great job. I think its controls are a little slow. I think its tracking is a little slow. I think as far as strength-wise, it's just fine. It's better than I expected. When you're tracking and you're swinging and you're moving the boom in all at the same time, you can hear it groaning, and it slows down because there's just not seeming quite enough hydraulics or something. But you let up on one of the three features and it swings and booms just fine. It doesn't like to swivel and boom and open the bucket at the same time. It likes to do like two functions, and so I think, maybe I need to ask the shop about it, or maybe that's just what you get for $35,000. You spend $90,000 for a Bobcat or something. Maybe you can do 5 features all at once, but I'd rather have 3 machines for the price of one Bobcat. That's the Southland SL714. This is 14K, but it's really almost a 16K because this guy's 16K hoist. But you can see that entire hut, pushed it over, loaded half of it in the back of the the trailer. Didn't organize it. I probably should have organized it, but more would have fit. The old 6.5's towing it just fine, holding it right out. So Sany knocked it over with one push. You saw that. 3 grand cheaper than the Iron Bull. It's not as strong as the Iron Bull, but the payload is like 1,500 pounds greater than the Iron Bull. So if you're not like dropping concrete or big boulders or anything like the wood, I drop the wood in, it's just fine. But anything that would like pierce the bed, well, it's not good for that because it's not made like that. But then at the same time, you can tow like a machine that weighs almost 2,000 pounds more than what you could with the same one in Iron Bull. In the Iron Bull, that was like 66, 6,800. The Iron Bull was like 9,800, so it's 3 grand more before tax. So again, you're better off just investing. And I dropped something on the side, and so the batter boards already paid for themselves. Versus the Iron Bull and the Big Techs don't have the batter boards. You have to make batter boards, which just makes the sides taller. So that has the recessed batter boards. You can kind of see like you're stuck running them, which I guess is a good feature of the Big Techs and Iron Bull, that you can add them if you want, but it just shaves weight. And it's all about weight. The new DOT laws are all about weight, and they're just looking to raise money, and so you're better off with less weight and more capacity than you are more strength. Because if you're going to be doing that stuff, you should be using a dump truck anyway, you know, or something a little more stout, you know. And then you can't fill it up very much because then you're overweight. So it's a durability versus weight ratio that you got to just weigh out.
This has got to be very gratifying for him because this thing has been an eyesore that I never look at because it's in the far back of our property, but he spends a decent amount of time out there. And he's been talking about knocking it over, but he hasn't had the right equipment to do it.